Hello, hello. All right, I'm sorry, guys, it wasn't working earlier. I will be recording this call. So I know you guys were waiting on the link that Katie sent, and I am really, really sorry. I tried everything. The links were not working for me, and it wasn't linking my account, so it was a nightmare. But here I am, and I hope this helps you out a little bit when it comes to international expansion, because it's a lot of fun. Sometimes. So, let me introduce myself first. I got some notes because I know myself and I will start deviating about everything. So that will kind of keep me focused, I hope. And if I don't, I'm so sorry. My name is Marta Miller. I am a Black Status presenter here in Dallas. I am Dallas, Texas, US. I am originally from Spain, Barcelona, Spain. I lived in the US for 13 years. I got 2 kids, a dog, cat, and a husband. So I'm pretty busy when it comes to life in general. So I try to include unique as much as I can, but mainly is my full-time job. So I know you guys know what that means, which is you're basically on the phone all day while your husband's asking you, why are you always on the phone? So pre-launch will make that even worse. So let me explain that to you a little bit how I was able to launch Mexico. Mexico was my baby. That's what I did. I'm proud of because it was exciting. It was an opportunity for me to grow my business. So I would like to give you some of the tools that I used for that and some of the factors that affect whether or not you're successful when going to new countries. All right. So what is it that makes international expansion so challenging? So what are the factors that make it so hard sometimes to be successful when launching in a new country? So the main four that I actually believe in, so would be your language, your culture, your time zone, time change, and whether we have available products during that pre-launch or not. Some countries will have product before they can even sign up, others won't. So that changes things too. So when it comes to the language, it's important that I personally don't communicate with other presenters in other countries unless they speak my language. I am not a fan of Google Translates and all that stuff. I think that is crazy. Like when I see people do that, I'm like, what? No, I can't do that because it's time consuming. It's not real. It's a machine translating my feelings, which there's not even feelings in there. I don't even know what it says. In the past, I've actually called somebody a douche trying to translate it. I'm like, hell no. So I don't do that. I only talk to those people who speak my own language. And I will explain how I get to those people later. Then the other one that we talked about was culture. So try to do a little research in there, like to learn a little bit what those people work their business, what they into, what makes them build that trust with you. Because remember, this is like one of the things that I always tell my team all the time. We are all about relationships, true relationships. Okay, so in order for you to gain trust and for you to get the true uh, family feeling, that true, that you really are going to be successful in that country with that specific team, is to have that trust. They need to trust you. And trust comes from building a relationship. And if you build a relationship, again, with Google Translate, it's not going to go anywhere. So you need them to speak their language. You need to understand their culture. Okay, so make sure you do a little research on that. And that's really important. I could do a whole call about that, but I don't have time for that. So then another one would be your time zone. Just be aware of that. That's not a big deal, but it is. Like if you are trying to communicate with them, keep in mind, be respectful of their time. And sometimes you can even schedule your posts. If you have a group, just schedule those posts, and then it's a lot better, more efficient way to go. And then the last one is whether they have product or not in advance. Why? If they have product, you can lead this business opportunity with the product. If they don't have product, it's just plain business. So it's plain trust in you. Because if they don't have the product to try, they're basically selling the product. So they have to trust you. So what you do is through educate them through videos, educate them through calls, but they actually don't have that product. So you are introducing a new business in that country without product. So it's basically just pure business. Okay, so that makes it hard. sometimes. It depends on the culture. Again, Mexico, they are into relationships, product. They want to try it, they want to feel it, they want to test it. I was lucky there because they had product before we launched. UK, you had to introduce just the business. You had no product. So again, those are things to consider. All right, so let's say you have those 4 factors and you look at them and you're like, all right, the language, I can communicate, I can find people. Time zones, I'll schedule my post. Product, I can lead with the business. And culture, you learn about the culture. Let's say you have all that under control and you're like, hey, Marta, I'm ready to go. I want to launch a new country. This is for me. Okay, you got to have stomach, first of all. You got to be like, you will be making no money during pretty decent amount of time, depending on how long the pre-launch will last. And you got to be aware of that, okay? So remember, you are fake building a team that's not selling, that's not producing, and you are taking a chance or a risk of these people saying at the last minute, hey, I'm going with somebody else. Thanks for your time. So how do we minimize that risk? Because this is a huge risk when it comes to pre-launch. All right, you're focusing all your time and efforts in another country, and there's no contract that says they're going to be with you. So yeah, some people have no values and they will leave. So you got to keep, how do we minimize all that stuff? So what do you do is how you build those relationships strong enough so they will stick with you, right? So what you do is, first of all, to get your contacts, you're going to be running ads on Facebook, campaigns, whatever you want to call it. That would be a great way to bring contacts from other countries. Remember, when you write those ads, they have to be on your own language. Otherwise, if you run it in, let's say France, you run in French, you're going to be getting people from France that speak French, most likely may not speak English, and then you're stuck with this Google Translate. So you don't want that. So run it in English, in France, and the people that speak English will contact you. Don't target those ads to unique presenters. If you start putting keywords like unique and 3D mascaras and whatever, you're going to be getting all these unique presenters liking your post, and then you're like, oh, there you go, there's another unique presenter, that's 10 cents right there you cost me. So try to narrow that market to a efficient market. Do not narrow it to unique or makeup. Narrow it to other stuff. It can be fashion, hair, I don't know, anything that's not just unique, okay, or not just cosmetics. Another one that I love, it's groups on Facebook. You can join other groups, and that can lead you to meet other people from other countries. Again, in your mind, I want you to look at it as I'm building relationships, I'm having new contacts. Don't look at it as you are recruiting, okay? Change your mindset. You're not recruiting, you're building relationships. Make new friends in other countries. You get to go there, get a free stay. I'm serious, build it. Have a true meaning for this. Don't look at it just as a money dollar signs. It's more than that, okay? So you get to experience and meet new people in another country, new language, new culture, new everything. It's fun. It's exciting. I love to travel. That gives me an excuse to tell my husband, hey, guess what? We open in Mexico. I get to go there. So it's work, right? So anyway, so look at it that way. You're not recruiting, you're building relationships. So if you join those Facebook groups, don't start going crazy sending messages. Have you heard about Unique? And look at this and look at that. And this is what we do. And this is Derek. This is Melanie. And this is what they do. We have a foundation. That will turn people off. So instead, just build a friendship, a true one. Some people you'll connect, some people you won't. I personally stick to the ones I connect with, even if it means I lose a recruit. I want true relationship with those people, even people that are in my team. Even I want it real. So that will help you. Facebook groups will help you running ads. And then what I do is we have here in the US, I know there's quite a few UK girls watching this. So in the US, we have what's called meetup.com. So when you do that, you get to access events that are happening in my area, and I can target events that are going to have people from other countries in it. So they have one actually in Dallas that's for French people. So I can just go there And when you go there, please don't go there with a backpack full of mascaras and your one eye done and not the other, because they'll just be like, what? Who the hell is that? So just go there as, hey, try to make new friends, and which is true. You are building relationships, friendship. Cool? So that would be like my, oh, yes, one more. And I talk about it everywhere I go. Because how do you know you are not, whoever, for example, you go get your hair done. You're getting your whatever. And you're talking about Unique. Bring up Unique. Bring it up. Just bring it up. How do you know she never lived in France? How do you know she has a lover in France? How do you know? You don't know any of that stuff. So you have to speak up. If you go to places and you don't talk about it, people won't come to you. They won't be like, hey, I want to join your team. They don't even, I mean, in my case, they don't know who I am. Maybe, we got other people like Whitney husband or whatever, that she walks in a place and people want to join. I walk in a place and they don't even care because they don't know who I am. So let's assume that's the case. Then you need to speak up. You need to talk. And you got to be like, hey, so this is what I do when we're opening friends. Any chance you got contacts in there? And, just pour it out there. Just see. Never know what can come out of that. So, anyway, again, it is a lot of work, but it's worth it. So I don't want to turn you off. I just want you to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. So, all right, let's say that you've done all this. You got your ads, you got your groups, you got your contacts. What do? I am at 11 minutes. I'm good. What do is you start your own group. All right, so you'll start what you call your master group. In that master group, you're going to have everybody you've been talking to, everybody that's interested. Okay, don't just start adding random people there who have you never talked to. That's going to turn them off right away. Okay, add the people you truly think they might be interested. Add them in there. And then what you do is you run that group like it was already an actual group that signed up. Like it's your team already. Okay? That's your team. You talk to them like they're already part of your team. So you talk about how you're going to run the business with them, what you are planning on doing once we launch, what we're going to be working on pre-launch. What are you doing when you do this? What you're doing is you build a trust again. They look at you as their leader. They look at you as somebody to look up to, somebody they trust, somebody they know. They know that they will be in good hands if they're with you. Okay, that's what you want, to minimize that risk of them leaving and going with another presenter, which that will happen, and it hurts because it happened to me and it hurts so bad. But you have to understand that, you know what, if that happens, move on, go with your other teams. You have different legs, right? If you lose a whole leg, go with the other one. I mean, it's there's so much you can do, but I want to help you minimize that pain because I know where that is. So once you have those groups, like I said, this is your master group right here. And let's say you got all these people that would be under your first level when you open the country. These people have to have their own separate groups, each one of them. I know it sounds like a crap load of groups, and I already know we have a zillion. But this is so important because not everybody has the same values you do or the same values they should have, and they will poach. So what you do is you separate them. Each one has their own, and they build their relationships in that individual group of theirs. Okay, so then you have building leaders at the same time by them having their own groups there. They're building their own community in there. All right, and if you lose one of those, you lose one of those. Okay, it hurts, but you got to learn to move on and focus on the ones that stayed with you and are loyal to you. All right, so let's see what else. Yes, how do I run those groups? So those groups, I post around 4 to 5 times a week. I try to keep engaged with them. I talk to them often. I want them to see what I do, how I do it, how I run my teams. I want them to understand the culture in the business, the culture in my group, because each presenter has their own culture in their group, right? So mine is a little more, it's laid back. I'm real. I say what I think, and I think what I say. It has to be clear for me. And that's how I do my post in my group. And I want them to understand that. Okay, so that pre-launch gives them time to get to know you and the way you build your business and how you run your business. All right, so once you have that group in there and you post 3 to 4 times, whatever, a week, it's important that you run videos. Videos, they need to see you. They need to learn about you. Again, it's all back to the same thing. It's that building that relationship with you. Okay, videos is the best way. They see your face, your expressions. Um, it shows them your true you. Okay, more than that's, again, we don't want to do that Google Translate because you don't see any of that. So videos would be a key for you to communicate with your team. Then a lot of countries like Mexico, they love one-on-one. So you can do either, of course, you can travel to the country and meet with them, which I did, and it was amazing. But if you can do that, Skype, you can use Skype, you can use Google Hangouts. Don't use whatever Katie does because that thing doesn't work. That link didn't work for me. No, but it's for real. Like Google Hangouts on air, that's what I'm gonna be loading it from. That's great. All those things work great. Just be consistent with them and don't just post one thing and then 2 months later expect them to still be there waiting on you. Okay, so consistency is really important. Another thing I do is I do a lot of chats on Facebook. So I keep my messenger, all the chats with everybody in there. That gets them, see if they have questions. And I start building their training. Just start training them like you would if they would already signed up. You tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do on day one. When we open the country, you guys will sign up with me, and then your team will sign up with you. Once we do this, I want you guys to do this. So they know what to expect when we open the country. And they have all that pre-launch time for them to build the team themselves. Okay, so again, it's all fake teams. Keep that in mind. It's all fake. But once we launch, they turn very real, and it's really exciting. So let's say you tell me now, and you're like, "Wow, this is crazy. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to run groups, no make money. Are you kidding me? I'm scared I'm going to lose the team when I'm training them." And I get it. I totally get it because I remember it was hard. So if that's your case, there's a way out of that. So what you do is you wait until the country actually opens, and I think that's actually really smart, is you wait until the country opens. And think about this. During pre-launch, all these presenters have been working that market. All these presenters. Hopefully not too aggressive because that turns everybody off. But let's say they've been working the market, and during the first 2 to 3 months, it is actually optimal time for you to recruit because these girls had all this knowledge they've been hearing, all this, unique this, unique that, new opportunity, new this. And remember, usually how many presenters have you had that they listen about unique and they sign up the same day or the same week? I freaking had like maybe 2. So usually most need that constant hearing, that, it's like sales. You gotta see or hear something 7 to 9 times until you actually say, fine, I'll buy it. So this is the same thing. So during pre-launch, they're like wondering. We launch, and then you start recruiting. Bam. Then it's perfect. Then they've done the work for you. So presenters like me have done the work for you. So that would be your other approach when it comes to launching new markets. So if you're not doing a pre-launch, don't freak out because you can do this too. So it's both ways. It's way different, but it is so less stressful the other way, and it's still success. You can still be really, really successful by doing it that way. And one more thing that I forgot to mention is, let's say you have your people who speak English. Let's talk about France right now. So you got you're running France, and you got people who speak English and they're really into this, and they're going to be positioned right underneath you. And you are running some ads or whatever, and somebody that in France answers your ads, but they don't speak Spanish. I personally don't work with them. I give them to my downline. I know that's not recommended as a general rule because you're losing generations, but in that case, it is, because, in my opinion, okay? Because then you don't have to worry about this whole Google Translate, how to interpret what they're saying and what they're thinking, how they're I mean, it's, for me, it's so stressful. So especially the way I am, because I'm just a little off. So it's better if I just say, hey, you take care of this. I give you some people, these are yours. It's still on your team, and you're helping your downline. So it's all good. All right. So let's see what else. What time is it? Because I don't want to go past it too much. We got all this. And then some important things when it comes to pre-launch and actually the day we launch is please, please, please be respectful of your team and your leaders. A lot of presenters don't do that, and I think it's wrong. So think about this way. You will have a lot of people in that pre-launch group that will come to you. A lot of them will say, hey, why wouldn't I just sign up with you instead of some whatever person brought them in your group? Your answer to that should be so clear and concise to say, listen, your sponsor is that girl. She brought you to the group. She trained you. Okay? I will still be there for you. That we are working together. That's what I always say. I work together with this girl. You need to sign up with her. And give them an example. Say, how would you feel if you sign up with me and that happens to us later on and your downline comes to me and I sign up with them? Okay? I personally had only that happen to me twice where they were basically, I don't care what you say, I'm going to sign up. And you have no control over that. I mean, once they come to that point to say, I will do whatever I want, you can there's no way for you to not let them sign up. I mean, they'll go to your link and they'll sign up. But I did have a lot, like at least 20 to 30 girls in the past who have been wanting to sign up with me before their sponsor. And I told him, I was like, that's not how it works. You can't do that. I mean, you can. Sadly, you can. But explain to them why. Don't be so quick to say, yeah, you can. Don't do that, because you're losing your trust with your team so much, and it will bite you in the ass later on. Like, it will affect you with your team. Okay, so try to stay loyal to your team. Explain to them and teach your team not to poach other teams. That's just a value thing. Like, you have to respect everybody else's teams and their work they put into. I understand some people will switch teams, and hey, they have all the right to do that. You want to find the right presenter for you, the right sponsor, but don't do your best so that does not happen. So again, let's do a little recap of everything I talked about. So remember, you can decide whether you want to go international during pre-launch, or you want to go international after pre-launch. That's kind of what I talked the most today, right? So if you want to go international before pre-launch, you got to consider language, culture, whether we have product or not, in time zones and stuff, okay? And if you want to go after pre-launch, I would definitely focus on the first 2 to 3 months after we launch a country. That would be a really strong time to get your recruits in. That would be a great time. Remember, I would still stick to people that speak to your own language. All right. If you're focusing it on the pre-launch and you decide this is what you want to do, run groups, have your groups scheduled, distributed to a master group and little groups based on how many first levels you will have in your master group. Okay, each group will have their own leader. That leader would be your first level. Okay, and then that way you avoid all the poaching. Run Facebook ads, meet up events that you find around your city. Always talk about it. Always talk about it. Like, seriously, that is the way to, if you're excited about this and you share it and you talk about it to others, it's contagious. Like, people want to, like, I go to Starbucks, seriously, and I hear people talking Spanish and I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, okay, what are you saying over there? Like, I want to know what they're talking about. Because I wonder, will they have family in Mexico? Oh, do they have contacts in Mexico? And I find a way to, like, bring it up. Like, I don't go and throw a whole baskets of mascaras on their table, but I will, like, hey, I heard you talk in Spanish, and I actually, I work for a cosmetics company. We have international expansion over there, and I run a Mexico team that's really successful, and I would be curious to know if you guys were interested. Bam. And you just drop that in there. If they look at you like you're crazy, then you just go and find another table. But some people won't. Some people will be interested. So, and again, there's different approaches. What I want you to get out of this call, the main thing is you are not recruiting, you are building relationships and friendships, and that's what truly will bring you the proper recruits and It's not all about the money. It's not all about uh, building the biggest team, and it's having that sense of unity in your team, and that you know your people, that you know how cool it is to have like leaders in your team, and you know what they like, what they do, their families. I don't know, it's pretty cool. For me, it's important that I know these girls. So I hope this is helping you a little bit, so it doesn't, I don't, what I'm trying to say more is, don't be too aggressive when going to other countries. um, it has to be a natural approach. It shouldn't be a big paragraph this big, copy paste to a zillion people. I don't believe in that. I don't do that. I like a little bit more one on one. Everybody's different. And remember, within that country, there's also different cultures. So everybody, it's different. So you got to connect with your people. You got to connect with your audience. And the way to do that is having those true relationships. Okay. So I hope this helps, and I have other videos about international expansion coming up, and there's quite a few in Spanish in my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. You can share with your teams. It's open to everybody. It's my training in Spanish, so I know that will help tremendously for those of you that have girls that speak Spanish, but you guys don't. So I'm definitely willing to share anything, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, sorry for not being able to join through the official link, but at least we got the call, and I appreciate each one of you for taking your time to meet here with me. So anyways, thank you guys.